school, you was the man, homie. Happened to you. So, looks like Cam Thomas just got waived by the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm not happy about it. I'm not saying this in any type of derogatory fashion. I'm not really trying to kick him in while he's down, even though that's what it intro makes sound like. Truly, I hope that young man finds success because he's very talented. But it really got me thinking about making, a little bit of a commentary on the situation, because I do think Cam Thomas can be served as a cautionary tale for a lot of young hoopers out there who don't really understand sometimes the position that they're in or the job that they're auditioning for. Like, take a guy like Austin Reeves, for example. I remember when Austin Reeves was getting called to play minutes for the Lakers, and he actually gave an interview where he was talking about the reason why he got an opportunity and a lot of other people did not, is because he understood the type of job he was auditioning for. And I think he compared it to like, hey, if people are looking for a janitor and you come in to the interview basically talking about your work experience as a CEO, they're not really looking for that.
The fact is, you had the ball in your hands a ton at OU your senior year. You played in a ton of pick and rolls. And I'm curious about the adjustment once you get to the NBA and you're playing with Bron, you're playing with AD, you're playing more off the ball, especially that first year. It wasn't really till about, at least, in me watching, what didn't feel like until about halfway through last year, your second season, that you really got to play more out of pick and roll and have the ball in your hands more. So that initial part where you're like trying to figure out how the league works, but also really not being able to play to your strengths.
Yeah, it's tough, but that was one thing I was really confident in, is, figuring out how to do all the other stuff. I was doing all the other stuff, so I was kind of already prepped to do that. I go to Wichita State. I didn't play on the ball. I shot the ball really well there, catch and shoot. I think my freshman year, I shot around 50% from three and then shot like 44, something like that. So I had shot the ball well before. Anytime, you can, the game and you play with Bron, you're going to be, set up for success. He helps people be good. And that was the main thing. When I walked into the doors my first day, I was like, look, I'm gonna make him respect me and trust me. And that was him and AD. I was like, those are the two things I want to do.
Somebody asked the question, is like, what do you look for when you're looking for a guy in the G League or a guy to fill out your team? One of the first things he said was, how many positions can you guard? Can you be a good teammate? And I was like, well, I can do the second one. Like, that's easy. Just be a good person who hang out with the team. All right, cool. And the first one, I was like, right now I can probably guard a couple two guards and a couple point guards. And this was after going to training camp with OKC. My idea of NBA two guards and point guards were Russell Westbrook and Victor Oladipo. So I was like, all right, well, I got to get a little bit better. So I think just having that discussion where I understood what somebody in the front office for an NBA team is actually looking for. Once I got that information, I was just like, all right, well, I know what I can do good, and let's get better at the other stuff.
And I think that can apply to Cam Thomas' situation. Like, he's been asked many times about the way that he's playing, passing the ball and things of that nature, and basically just has shown like a stubbornness and refusal to change.
I was talking to your head coach, Steve Nash, before the game, and he was saying he's encouraging you both to look for your shot, but to look for your teammates as well. You had 7 assists. You laughed there. Why are we laughing?
It is what it is.
This isn't even a new phenomenon. Like, personally, I remember watching Cam Thomas in the Summer League, and I was not very familiar with like his background at that time. And I remember I sent a message to my brother and basically told him that I just watched this guy play who I've never seen this level of ball hogging in my life. Like, I don't think he understands what it is that he's doing or why it's bad, but it leads to terrible basketball.
Be efficient game offensively, not so much with the turnovers, and then the defensive end, gotta be more solid with coverages and so on and so forth. Obviously, his superpower is the scoring, But once again, I need better defense, I need better playmaking.
A serious problem. And when you just look at this game against Houston as an example, even if we ignore the turnovers, it is the process Cam Thomas has on offense that can drive coaches crazy. Like here where Clax slips the screen, and with 2 on the ball, just make the pass, Cam. Just make it. But no, he doesn't see it or can't make it and backs it out to Williams to reset. Or again, this time with Sharp setting the screen. Cam, make that pass. It's right there. Just make the pass. But no, he waits and loses his handle. And this is what drives coaches crazy.
But I think because he believes that he can make difficult shots, or he views himself as unguardable, then somehow that justifies the way that he's playing. But people have to remember, basketball is literally 5-on-5. You can have times where you're selfish with the ball, but if the times that you're selfish with the ball is leading to a lack of production for the overall team, then you're not really helping us. Especially when the times when you're selfish with the ball and scoring it, you're not even the most efficient. And you're not the star player, yet you're giving lapses on defense. You see, like if Luka has lapses on defense, or James Harden or anyone like that, they can always at least lean on the fact that their offensive production is so high. They're efficient when they're scoring. They're also moving the ball, making the plays for others when they're scoring, which keeps the defense honest. And so if they have a little lapses on defense, then we can kind of account for that as a team, or make up for that as a team. But when you're Cam Thomas and you're not doing any of those things, then it kind of becomes unjustifiable, especially when you also bring this attitude of kind of stubbornness or unwillingness to even develop your game. Also on the LeBron James podcast, he was talking about this. I can't remember if it was with JJ or Steve Nash, but the point was that to truly become unguardable, you also have to be able to make all of the reads. And that's what makes guys like Luka and Jokic and LeBron and people like this unguardable, because if we can just, completely throw you off by sending just a little bit of help your direction, and you can't adjust for that in a 5-on-5 game, then you're not that good. You're not truly unguardable. You're actually very easy to guard. But the true unguardable people not only can score one-on-one efficiently, but also dissect the defense that you're running and make you pay for it every time, so that it puts the defensive coach or the defensive team in a conundrum where they can't figure you out and you truly become unguardable. With Cam, you're getting neither one of those, plus you're not playing defense. Austin Reeves got on the court by playing defense, and now we see all of the value he can provide as an offensive scorer, but he did not get there just by starting off trying to shoot a bunch of shots. He wasn't shooting these ridiculous shots. He's making his open ones, playing defense, and making the right reads when you're in the fold. Cam Thomas has a lot to learn from that, and I hope that he takes this as like a wake-up call to improve his game and not take it as a shot at him, because when you personalize it and start talking about basically how the league is almost like hating on you in a way, or maybe they're just trying to slow you down or hold you back, you have to do some self-reflection in a situation like this, where these are two separate teams who have now just let you go with all the talent that you have. And I do think Cam Thomas could be an effective player. Like at this point in time, he's maybe more of a 6-man type of player, but even that type of player is asked to make a bunch of reads. Even if you think about guys like Jamal Crawford or Lou Williams or etc., they may not have been the most phenomenal passers in the world like a Rondo, but they could make all these simple reads to keep the defense honest. That's what you have to do. Cam Thomas has shown both an inability or an unwillingness, some combination of the two, of both. And so I really hope young players out there who have that type of scoring talent and maybe aren't getting the role that you deserve or you believe yourself to deserve, use this as a cautionary tale and don't fall into the same traps as someone like a Cam Thomas. Develop your game, work on those other parts of your game. Defense is mostly effort and attention to detail. And that's something you can control. So if the coaches are seeing that you're not even willing to do that, and you're not our best player, maybe not even our second best player, then you're not going to get these opportunities that you believe that you warrant. Versus a guy like Austin Reeves, do all of the little things while still honing your offensive game. And when you have your opportunity to display that, display it. Cam Thomas can score, but he's not really the quickest, doesn't create the most separation, takes a bunch of questionable shots, and routinely makes poor reads. And so, I just wanted to give a little 2 cents on that. So hopefully that young man can figure it out, turn it around, and start taking more advice instead of, responding the way he has in the past, so he can have a better career. But if not, hey, he may be out the league soon, playing overseas or something like that, or relegated to a role deep on a bench that his talent does not deserve. But anyway, I'm Coach Muhammad. I just want to give my 2 cents on this situation. Hopefully Cam Thomas can turn it around. This is Hoop Symmetry, trying to bring some balance to the conversations, and I'm out.